Hello everyone, today's video is about springs combination trial for the Canik TP9SFx. You are going to hear me talk about the Canik OEM Recoil spring. That is a spring that came with the handgun. Then you are going to hear me talk about the Sprinco Recoil spring. That is an aftermarket spring. And then finally the Glock 17 Recoil spring. That is a spring borrowed from the Glock 17. As well, you are going to hear me talk about the firing pin spring, and there will be the OEM that came with the gun, a replacement spring that Canik or Century, the importer of Canik, sent me, a Glock 17 as well will be into play, and finally the red 28 Newton firing pin spring. Considering the ammunition I'm using 3 different loads. The first one you will hear me say it's load number 2. That is a very low underpower load for USPSA, which is set for a power factor of 125. So the average is 1010 feet per second for 124 grain bullet. The second load will be load number 3, a little bit faster, 1100 feet per second. That will produce a power factor of 136. This load is probably the best load, and above, of course, but this is a starting load for the Canik SFX. Anything under, it won't like it very much. And finally, the most powerful load that I will have in this trial will be 1140 feet per second, and that will be a power factor of 141 with a 124 grain bullet. Anyway, enjoy. Okay, today I'm going to try different springs on my Canik SFX. Here is the factory recoil spring. I also have a Glock recoil spring and a Sprinco recoil spring, and with this I have already inside the gun the OEM Canik spring, so I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to vary from one to the next to see what is the best combination. All right. Okay, so the OEM is working fine, 1148 average. And this is number 2. Ah, yep. Yeah, failure to eject. Those are light loads. Yep. Okay. The Sprinco is too weak, or the firing pin spring is too strong, so that's not a match. Okay, And let's see the Glock. So I'm going to write down that's a no. The Glock spring. So Glock recoil spring with OEM firing pin. It comes back very nicely. That's good. Okay, let's give it a try. Glock recoil spring with firing spring OEM. It did not come back to battery. So I consider this as a fail. Okay, now we are going to use the replacement firing pin. The new one from Canik. OEM recoil spring, replacement firing spring, load number 2. Failure to eject. Okay, now we have the OEM recoil spring, but we have a Glock firing pin spring. Let's see how it works. And not to my surprise, it's working fine because we have a very strong recoil spring. I'm going to take my number 2 ammo, which is the slowest ammo, and we'll see if this cycle. It should cycle fine. My worry is about live primary strike. And no, failure to eject. Another failure to eject. 2 failure to eject. Now I have Sprinco recoil spring with Glock firing and my load number 2, so my weakest load. Very nice, a good combination. On this one I have a Glock recoil and Glock pin with my load number 2, my weakest load. Very nice. Okay, we have OEM recoil and red 28 Newton spring, and it's working. We'll try load number 2. No good. Sprinco red 28 Newton. Load number 2. Beautiful. Glock red load number 2. Good. Glock Red load number 3.